just the sweetest little kitties you can imagine. But this story I'm about to tell you is not about a sweet purry kitty. Oh, no, no, no. This is about a kitty cat that, well, let me just start from the beginning. You see, it was a Saturday morning, and while I was really busy, you know, I had kids, I had a husband, I had things to do, and I'm in the laundry room, and so I am out doing my chores, and I was loading the washer, and I was loading the dryer, and out from under the dryer came a big, fat, hairy rat.
Oh.
Have y'all ever seen those big old rats? I mean, they're not the little mousies now. They've got the long, intimidating tail, and, well, it just looked at me eyeball to eyeball, and I was terrified. I began to yell for my husband and my boys, help, help. Well, they were busy in the living room watching NASCAR, and I had a fat chance of getting them in there. But finally, my husband ran in, and he said, what is going on? He thought at least I was being robbed or something. And I said, oh, well, it's gone. But it was a big, fat, hairy rat, and he went back under the washer. And, well, my husband said, I've got a plan. He called the two boys in. And he shook the washer, and he said, now when I shake the washer, each one of you take a broom and a mop, and you whack at it. You whack at it, and I'll open the back door, and it'll run out. That was his plan. You know, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? You know, you'd think that would work. And so I was convinced, and I said, well, okay, I tell you, I'll go stand on the stairs, and I can peep into the kitchen, and you just tell me when it's gone. So it was all set. We had our plan. Everything was going hunky-dory. All righty? And I hear, oh, there it is, whack, slam, whack. They missed. And here comes my arch enemy down the steps, eyeball to eyeball with me. It actually ran across my bare foot, and I could feel its little toes. It felt something like that as it ran. Well, you see, I knew I had to do something. It was either me or the rat, and I don't like to be a loser. So early the next morning, I called for my battle truck, my husband's four-wheel drive. I dressed in snake boots and a bulletproof vest, and I carried a fly swatter. I don't know about that fly swatter. It just seemed like a good idea at the time, and, well, my husband said, where are we going? I said, everybody load up, we got to go. Where are we going? I said, we're going to the animal shelter. I need a big, mean cat. Can y'all say that with me? A big, mean cat! Sounded like a good plan, didn't it? We took off to the animal shelter. And I walked in the door, and the attendants met me there. You know, I looked a little odd as I walked in. I looked a slight bit odd, but they still came and said, ma'am, could we help you? And I said, yes, I need a big, mean cat. A cat, they say? And I said, oh, yeah, I need a cat, and I need him immediately. So they took me down the hallway, just a step or two, and opened the door, and there was some of the sweetest little purry kitties, something like these two. But you see, I didn't need a sweet or purry. What did I need? I needed a big, mean cat! And I told them immediately, I need a bigger cat. It's got to be meaner. I mean, this is what I really need. Suddenly, one of the attendants walked over to the other, and they began to whisper. They had this little whispered conference, and they would look at me, and then they would whisper and look at me. And finally, the bravest of the two came to me, and they said, Mrs. McKee, if you are serious, if you really need a big, mean cat, follow me. And the attendant shook his hand as he pointed down a long, dark hallway. come with me, come with me. And so we began to walk down the hallway, and my husband said, this doesn't sound good. I mean, are you sure you want a big mean cat? And I said, absolutely. We entered the room. It was a large room. There, sitting in the middle of the floor in a cage, all alone, and wanting to be alone, was the biggest cat I had ever seen. And on the side of his pen was the name Killer. Oh. I had found my cat. Killer the cat. The attendant said, now, you know, if you're positive, I will attempt to take the cat out of the box. I said, oh, yes. And my husband came over and he said, Ann, I'm not sure about that. I mean, that's an awful looking cat. And are you sure we should take him home? I said, absolutely. This is the one. We are meant for each other. Me and Killer. So the attendant then put on his bulletproof vest, his snake boots, and his metal-edged gloves. And as he opened the box, he dipped his hands inside, and with a screech and a yowl and a meow, and tufts of hair all through the air, he grabbed Killer. And he threw him gently into an adoption box. And the attendants walked up with a paper for me to sign. Here you are, Mrs. McKee, have a good day. They were ready for me to go with Killer. As we walked through the car, the box was jumping around. We put it in the back, and it was just out of control. And my husband said, okay, what are we supposed to do now that we've got Killer? I said, well, we've got to go to the vet and get its shots. He said, well, that ought to be a trip. So we took off to the vet that was nearby, and the box continues to jump all over our vehicle. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll go in and get the vet and bring him out. That would probably be the best thing to get his shot. And the vet did come outside with me, and he peeked in the little breathing hole, and he said, oh, I've seen this one before.
Oh dear.
Are you sure you want this cat? I said, absolutely. So hit or miss, he slung a shot through the air hole, and we were on our way. My husband said, all right, so when we get home, what is your plan? And I picked up my little bag of goodies, things I had bought for regular cats, you know. Oh, a little bell and little toys and little treats. That is, if Killer had been a regular cat. We arrived to my house, and there to greet the new kitty to our family was my mother and two sons. Oh, they had made a welcome kitty sign and put it out, and they brought the box in, and we took it out to our patio, and with all of us standing around, we were welcoming the new kitty to our home. And just as my husband opened the box, Killer jumped out, landed on the ground, and took off north. I mean, we didn't even get to say hello, Killer. We didn't even get to give him his sack of goodies. He was gone. Killer was gone. Well, we made up signs and put them out all over the neighborhood. I called Ken Rainey on the radio station to let him know we were looking for Killer. I even called down to the animal shelter to ask about Killer, and they made a note that Killer was on the loose one more time. Well, after it was all said and done, I believe Killer did his job after all. Because you see, we never did see that big, fat, hairy rat again. Neither did we see Killer. They were both long gone. And it happened just as I've told you today. I lead an exciting life. Thank you.